All right, what's up, YouTube? I'm Kevin from the Fantasy Football Keys podcast, bringing you my top quarterbacks for the upcoming fantasy football season. I decided to do a top 15. 10 seemed a little bit too short, and then 20 was getting kind of deep. So I settled for 15. Think it's the perfect number right there. Before I get into number one, I just want to start off by saying quarterback is by far the deepest position in fantasy football. You could very well wait until one of your last picks to draft a quarterback and end up with a really solid player and overall a great team. But if you are looking for one of those top tier elite guys, this list is definitely for you. So you can get a good idea of kind of who falls where in the grand scheme of things. Now, that being said, let's get right in to the number one spot. Shouldn't be a surprise. We have Patrick Mahomes right here. Finished as the number one fantasy quarterback last year, league MVP. Third quarterback ever to throw for 50 or more touchdowns after Manning and Brady. And that offense is looking more or less the same. Tyreek Hill was a question mark there for a little bit, but it's looking pretty promising. He'll be good to go for the season. And then the big difference is Kareem Hunt, but I don't know if that hurts or helps Mahomes. He was a good threat out of the backfield receiving-wise, but they also don't have his great rushing ability, so maybe they rely a little bit more on Mahomes in the passing attack. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. The one thing that I know for certain is Mahomes will repeat as the best fantasy quarterback. I can guarantee it. But you are going to have to give up some capital for him. He's going to go in the top 3 rounds, probably second or third. Is it worth it, in my opinion, to give up that much capital for your quarterback? I wouldn't, but I mean, it will give you that edge at the position for pretty much the entire season. Moving into number 2, I mean, you could have a different answer here depending on who you ask, but I have Andrew Luck, who I had on my team last year and was phenomenal. 39 touchdowns, number 5 quarterback to finish the season. And I had him, I don't remember the exact stat, but I think it was maybe 3 or more touchdowns in 7 or 8 straight games, which is crazy. You can't really ask for a more consistent quarterback than what Andrew Luck did last year. He threw 3 or more touchdowns in pretty much half the season straight. And what's different in that Colts offense? Well, let's take a look. They have Jack Doyle coming back fully healthy, a great receiving tight end. They drafted Paris Campbell, who I mean is not going to be a great wide receiver one, but he's a gadget player. He's going to be that type of guy Luck can throw a screen to, and he takes it 30, 40 yards to the house. It's going to ultimately help Luck's stats. They added Devin Funchess across from T.Y. Hilton, who's going to be a big-bodied red zone target for Luck. And there's just no way Luck isn't the number 2 quarterback. He's another year removed from that shoulder surgery. He's just going to be better, and that offense is great. Now moving in to number 3. This one might be a little bit surprising. I don't know. I'm wearing his jersey. It's Drew Brees. He's the king of consistency. He threw 32 touchdowns last year. Yes, he's getting older in age. His ceiling is not quite what it used to be. But, I mean, dude every year is just breaking his own records for completion percentage. He's got great weapons around him. Alvin Kamara, insanely talented receiving running back. Michael Thomas, top 5 wide receiver in the league. He finally has a good tight end in Jared Cook. Ingram left. I don't see that affecting him much. Tre'Quan Smith has looked great. And he's going to make random players look like good players. I mean, he does it every year. It's what Drew Brees does. Guys you've never heard of will be catching touchdowns in the Saints offense. Because he's Brees, he's great. I could see this as his first MVP season. I mean, that doesn't really have anything to do with fantasy, but I think this is his year. I think he does very well. Another quarterback you're probably seeing towards the top of most people's list is Deshaun Watson, just because he's such a great rushing threat. He rushed for 551 yards last year and added 5 touchdowns, and he's throwing bombs to the best receiver in the NFL, DeAndre Hopkins. As long as he has Hopkins and he runs, he's going to be a great fantasy quarterback. That's why I have him in the top 5 here. Injuries could be a little bit concerning just because that offensive line still isn't good. I mean, he's running for his life, it seems like, on every play. So injuries could be a factor there, but he's worth the risk. Rounding out the top 5, we have Aaron Rodgers. It'd be disrespectful to leave him out of the top 5. Yes, he had a down year last year with 25 touchdowns. He's still elite. He's still Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be back. He's got Davante Adams, a great receiver. Their run game to me is a question mark. Aaron Jones has looked great. I love him, but we haven't seen him for a full 16 games. We don't really know what he can do there. So to me, the running game is a question mark. It might be a bigger passing year for Rodgers, and he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever watched play the game. There's no way he's not going to be back to form this year and be a top 5 fantasy player. Number 6, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league, Russell Wilson, who has recently been awarded the highest paid player in the NFL. He's another guy that is just going to be very consistent. I can guarantee he'll end up as a top 10 quarterback. He's still got that rushing floor. It's not what it used to be, but it still helps. He lost Doug Baldwin. That hurts. That's why I have him at 6. I'd probably have him higher if they still had Baldwin. They have Tyler Lockett, who's not quite a wide receiver 1. They have DK Metcalf. We don't know what he's going to be capable of in the NFL, but he's Russell Wilson. He is a great player. He's going to produce in that Seattle offense, and that's why I have him at number 6. Number 7, maybe a surprise here, but Matt Ryan is a guy we've seen finish as a top-tier fantasy quarterback before. I think last year he might have been like 3, definitely top 5. I think it was 3, though. They do have a new offensive coordinator, Dirk Cutter, which you don't love for fantasy, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to predict what their offense is going to look like. They lost Tevin Coleman. It's not really substantial in my opinion. Their receiving attack is insane. I still have them as the number 1 receiving core in the NFL, even over the Browns still. They have Julio. Calvin Ridley, I think, is going to have a breakout season. Sanu is good. Hooper is a solid receiving tight end. And Devonta Freeman has proven he can catch it out of the backfield. You just got to stay healthy. And yeah, that's why I have Matt Ryan as my number 7 quarterback. I just mentioned the Browns. They have a stacked receiving core, and their quarterback is going to fall right here at number 8, Baker Mayfield. You all know about Baker by now. Took the league by storm, broke out his rookie season, took over for Tyrod Taylor, didn't even start all 16 games, but set the rookie passing touchdown record, and they added Odell Beckham Jr., a top 5 wide receiver. Yeah, how's that fair? He's going to be great. It is his second year. We haven't even seen him play a full season. That's why I have him at 8 and not higher. I don't know. Can't really count on him just yet to be that top-of-the-line guy, but he is going to be great. All right, Eagles fans, number 9, we have Carson Wentz. I knew you were waiting for this. His season, once again, was cut short last year. He's had a little bit of trouble staying on the field, 11 games, but I think he's going to be back and healthy and play a full season this year. It's just my prediction. I think he can return to that MVP level of play that he was at not too long ago. They added Deshaun Jackson, which is great for him. They already had good receivers with Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar. They just added a great down-the-field deep threat in Deshaun Jackson, which will certainly help him out. He's got great tight ends as his kind of safety blanket, Zach Ertz, and I think Dallas Goedert will have a pretty impactful year on that offense. But yeah, I think Wentz stays healthy. He's got everything around him to be successful. I think he is successful. Rounding out the top 10, this one is probably the most debatable player I have in my list. I don't even know if I want to say it. I'm just going to say it. Dak Prescott. Yeah, Dak Prescott I have in my top 10. I'll tell you why. He's been consistent ever since he entered the league. In every season, he's rushed for 280 or more yards and added 6 rushing touchdowns in each season, which is great for fantasy football. He's got that rushing floor. And last year, they added Amari Cooper, and they absolutely tore it up. He made Amari Cooper look so good. Or maybe Amari Cooper made Dak look good. It doesn't matter. I think they're going to continue that hot streak of that just chemistry, Dak to Amari. I think they're both going to have a great season. I think Dak has some rushing touchdowns again. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes as a top 10 fantasy quarterback. If you disagree with any of these rankings, feel free to comment down below. I'll reply to all of them. Moving into the back 5 at 11. I don't even want to say his name. Big Ben, gross. Dude's old, but he can still ball. He led the league in passing yards last year. He lost AB, which hurts. Juju's ready to be that wide receiver 1, but he's no AB. They lost Le'Veon Bell. I don't think that is major at all. Connor, I don't see as a downgrade. He's not the same Big Ben that we have seen in years past, but he's going to be a quarterback 1. He's not going to be at that very top tier, but if he's your quarterback, you're not going to be upset. He's going to be consistent. He's going to put up good numbers for you, and Yeah, Big Ben shouldn't have a bad season here. Number 12 is a quarterback I'm much more excited about. Phillip Rivers, 32 touchdowns last year, 4,300 yards, great offense. The biggest piece that we have is Hunter Henry coming back from injury, going to give him a very nice red zone threat right there. Mike Williams, the maybe third-year receiver now, I'm predicting to have a breakout year. I think he's going to do very well. And then Keenan Allen, we already know is going to produce. And Melvin Gordon has proven to be effective out of the backfield too. Overall, Chargers have a loaded roster. Rivers, he had a great season last year. He looked like a solid quarterback. He was leading his team to victories. I think he gets back at it. 13, I have Jared Goff. I ranked his draft counterparts, Dak and Wentz, ahead of him by a couple spots. I don't think Goff is as good as them, but he's in Sean McVay's insanely high-powered offense. He's got Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods, Josh Reynolds to throw to. Gurley, his reduced workload for the upcoming season will help Goff. He's going to be forced to throw it more, so, I mean, you'd certainly think that would help him fantasy-wise, and I have him as top 13. I don't think he's that great. That's why I don't have him super high, but he definitely deserves to be top 15. 14, Tom Brady. Be disrespectful to leave him out of this list. He did lose Gronk, which absolutely hurts him a lot. They're going to rely on their run game more as Brady ages, but he's still going to produce like he does every year, and he deserves to be on the list. And then number 15, super excited about this one, Mitchell Trubisky, Money Mitch. 24 touchdowns last year, but I think he's ready to take that step and become just on the fringe of an elite quarterback. That's my prediction. Matt Nagy's offense is great. He has weapons around him. My favorite one being Tariq Cohen. He's going to help Mitch out a lot. And yeah, I think he's, like I said, ready to take that step. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a top 15 quarterback at all. So that's it for the top 15. I know there are probably some players that you're thinking of that I didn't mention. So here's a couple honorables. We're going to start off with Kyler Murray, who is a potential gem. He's obviously a future star, drafted number 1 overall, but it's just too early for me to put him in the top 15. Completely new coaching staff. We don't really know what to expect there. O-line is still suspect. Offense overall is just a question mark. He's very well worth taking a shot at. I'd prefer having a quarterback in place before I draft him, but Kyler Murray, he could really pay off in the long run. Next honorable is Jameis Winston, who I believe to be a bad quarterback. I don't think he's good, but if he has a good year, if he has a breakout year, it's going to be this year. They have Bruce Arians now, who if anyone is going to make Jameis a good quarterback, it's Bruce. He's got the players around him. Mike Evans is so good. O.J. Howard, Chris Godwin. Just overall, pretty good-looking offense. It is a risky pick because he hasn't shown to be that great quarterback, but I mean, like I said, he has the potential to break out, and if it's any season, it's this season, so if that's something you're new, take a risk on Jameis. Really excited to talk about these two guys. Pained me to not put them in the top 15. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Insane potential right here. They need to be drafted. They're going to be drafted, but you got to keep an eye on these guys. If you have the opportunity, you got to pull the trigger because they have insane potential. They could both easily be top 10 quarterbacks just with their rushing abilities. I wouldn't be confident having them as my quarterback 1. If I had Lamar Jackson as my quarterback 1, I wouldn't love it, and I'm a Ravens fan. So I'd prefer to have maybe like a big Ben Roethlisberger, a Phillip Rivers in place, and then maybe draft Lamar Jackson to have just in case he can be what people think he can be. Because he could carry your team very easily. It's risky. I can't put him in the top 15 yet. Same with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is probably a better pick than Lamar, to be honest. He's shown a little bit more promise with the throwing side of the ball. But either one of them, keep an eye on. Take a risk. Kirk Cousins, disappointing year last year, had everything around him to be successful. Pretty much wasn't. He kind of has QB1 upside. I don't like Kirk, but, I mean, he is kind of around that 15 to 20 quarterback range, in my opinion. And then Jimmy G, who unfortunately we didn't get to watch last year, but has potential. I think that 49ers offense isn't too bad this year. And just another guy worth mentioning. Might be worth taking a shot on. So there are my honorables, my top 15. Let me know who you disagree with, who you agree with down in the comments section below. I appreciate you all watching this first podcast. Sorry if it's rough. I'm just getting into things, but we'll be back soon. Another probably projection video. Maybe running backs next. We'll just have to wait and see. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you all next time.